Have you ever gotten to the top of a climb just to hear the words, "It's much easier for you, you're tall," and all the happiness you had just vanishes? Well, I have, and I'm tired of it. We've all seen the videos, short versus tall climber, and usually the conclusion is that the tall climber has an advantage. In Japan, and especially at BPUMP, they pride themselves in setting technical boulders where height is not the determining factor. Well, I have a hot take. It is. And short people have it easy. There are sit starts, tiny crimps, and small boxes everywhere, which is why I'm here at BPUMP Tokyo with my good friend Azamin, the king of coordination. Stay until the end because the big goal for today is to try and send this brown tape that pro climber Kokoro Fuji recently sent. So I want to start by saying I'm not actually a tall person. I'm 175 centimeters, which is I think 5'9". So if I would be in America, I would be considered short or average maybe. But here in Japan, I'm a little bit taller. So having a little bit of an arm span, people call me like tall or that I cheat out moves. But my friend Azamin is 161 centimeters, so I think that's 5'3". So he's pretty short, and I think it's gonna be pretty fun to see the differences in our style. So far, we just had a warm-up climb, and it was pretty similar, but already on this climb, we're gonna start seeing some differences. This blue tape was pretty bad, at least for me. The box for the last move is very small, or at least that's what it felt like. But for Azami, the problem was completely the opposite. He could get his foot up and balance to the right and up without any issues. But for him, matching the top was very far away. And it's hard to show on the video, but that volume looks very sketchy. You don't want to slip or you'll just get like cheese grated all over your legs or face. So he was inching slowly but surely, like he was almost touching the top, but he needed a little bit more, not even on tippy toes. Meanwhile, I was just falling to the side just because I couldn't put my weight on my foot. It felt like it was slipping. But he got the send and I just stopped. Then we moved to the right to another blue tape. And this one is pretty standard. We both climb it the right way. It seems pretty simple for both of us. It's a warm-up climb, nothing too hard, and no holds or moves felt like they were specific to any heights. We moved on to this red white tape, which was surprisingly bad. That little foot chip on the left foot was horrible. You could barely stand on it and it felt like it was digging into your foot. And the right foot wasn't anything easier. It felt like it was gonna slip at any moment, so the balance was really hard. And the blue volume from before just pushed out your chest away from the wall, so it was really hard to balance around it and into it. But Azamin, he climbs much better than me, in my opinion. So he was actually kind of close to getting it, but if he had a little more reach, maybe he would have reached the hold. But who can say it, right? Because if you have more reach and are taller, the balance might be a little bit different, so it's hard to say. We did try this boulder a lot, and I mean a lot. I didn't even put all the videos just because it's a little too much. But as you can see, I am falling way more often than Azamin. He was just not reaching the timing. And to this point, we were trying every single beta we could think of, and I found a little screw hold, and maybe if you put just enough pressure, you could stand on it. But I think it might break my shoes, but I gave it one try, and it felt kind of solid, but afterwards, just changing the hands and the foot and the feet placement was a little too bad, so we just moved to the next one. Now this boulder is really interesting. It doesn't look too bad on this camera angle, but you have to go around the wall and get this paddle dyno. And it was pretty weird because we both hit like our chest or throats into the white hold. So we were really close to the wall. Now, as I said in the intro, Azamin is the king of coordination. If you've seen my V4 to V9 video, you'll see there's one boulder that I was really happy of getting, just a run and gun, but Azamin was the one who told me how to get through that. So he's really good at it. Here, we're both trying that advice I've said before. Whenever it comes to coordination moves, try it off the ground, but try to mimic the move. Here I'm jumping right leg twice to keep on the momentum that would be the real move. It makes it much easier, and you can suddenly see I'm starting to get the momentum and movement much better. I just missed the right leg. We decided to change the camera angle, and suddenly everything went fine. We got the move, but I didn't plan ahead, so I didn't look at the top. But now, much easier just because we got the timing down. And Azamin's turn, perfect. He also gets it. So we both got our boulder here, and I wouldn't say there's a height advantage for anyone. Then we tried out this crimpy white tape that seems like there wouldn't be any difference on the beta just because every single hold is bad enough that you could have a small box or a stretched out box, anything's okay. So luckily, and to my surprise, I flashed it, which is very weird. My fingers were hurting, but it seems like I can still pull a little bit. It was kind of straightforward, no crazy gimmicks or feet technique. And then Azamin gives it a try. We both do a pretty similar beta, just small details, but nothing that would give anyone an advantage. Here, Azamin reads it much better than me. It's hard to see, but there's two holds that are supposed to be hold as a pinch instead of just a side crimp and then another side crimp. But he makes it through, gets the right foot up, and then he's basically done. This was kind of weird because it was pretty fast, like after the warm-up to be having to crimp this much, but well, it's the Japanese way of doing things, right? I had this light blue tape, which was pretty weird. We didn't understand the beta in the beginning. And the first move, some people thought it was a campus, but I think if you smear enough on the right foot, you could get it. But that crossover for me was the crux. So it took quite a few tries, and I saw Azamin doing it like really easy, but he was still kind of struggling on the first move. So we got beta from a few of the guys that climbed there, and there was a pretty weird beta with a heel hook. I didn't get on camera, but it worked somehow. And here I am kind of struggling with the cross, which was for me the crux. And Azamin got like a really good smear, and I was trying to copy him, and if I just lowered my foot a little bit, it changed a lot. I try it from the cross, what would happen if I get that move, because I was pretty confident that if I got that move, I could make it to the end. And here is Azamin's try from the middle. After a few tries, I finally get the left hand and proceed to go to the top. I think I might get it. The right hand is much worse than it looks, but I throw and I finally get the top, even though it was only from halfway. But now I can do all the moves. Azamin is trying the short people beta, but it seems it is much worse. Almost impossible, I would say. So it might be another point for the short crew. They might have it harder than the tall people. Who would have thought? And here I am trying to send the boulder, thinking about the right foot, lower smear. I get the cross, I get the right hand. I'm pretty happy. Gotta get the solid left hand, nice. And then no heel hook, just cross it and get the match. I was pretty happy. This one took quite a while. I was pretty toast, but yeah, it was pretty fun. We thought we were gonna move on to the right to a new boulder, but without even telling me, he started climbing and suddenly, I think you can see it from this angle that it's pretty overhung and the holds are much worse than they seem. So we moved to the right to a white tape, which should be a little bit easier, and it's pretty fun because the movement is pretty weird. Like, there's a lot of slopers and you have to use your feet with a lot of drop knees to make each move easier. Whenever there's pink holds, I'm really bad at them, and the crux for sure was that last hold just before the top. It's pretty far away. And after talking with a few of the people that were trying it out, I thought of a new beta, but it might be height dependent, which is the whole point. I made this video, but it might just be breaking my own point. I lift my right foot and smear, and it made it much easier to hold the right hand. But I don't think Azamin can reach that. So I might be wrong. It's hard to admit, but I can see the videos and the difference, and shorter people have it harder, I think. But we'll see at the end of the video. So there I get the top, but it wasn't 3 seconds. So I tried again and just get a clean top, get my right foot up, much better, get the control, and I was pretty happy about that. So Azamin was still trying out, and his beta was to basically throw from a lower hold.
Nice, man.
But the right hand was pretty round and shallow. He tried lifting his foot, but the left hand was not great. So back to the throw, which didn't work. Then we moved to the left to a boulder that is pretty my style, so slopers and compression. You have to get this weird heel hook and height advantage for me, because most people can't get the right hand I took first. They get the small crimp under it. Then just using a little bit of my calisthenics background, a little bit of power, tension, just moving to the side, trying not to cut, but I'm off. Which that point for sure was the crux of the climb. Here we have a little bit of a different beta. Azamin controls the swing and goes for the toe, but I would say it's much easier to go for the hand first. So I tried it from halfway to see if I can do the top move, and this was the crux. Just keeping tension, not flying off, not barndorming. After that, it wasn't too bad, and the beginning, like if you get used to the movement, would be okay, I think. So I go for the send, and if I can, this would be pretty nice. Getting a white tape in like 3 tries, even though it's my style, is pretty motivating. Lately, my climbing has been improving a little bit, and yeah, I'd like to be able to send all the white tapes like before. There's still a lot I can't, so getting any white tape feels nice. Here we are, today's main dish. This crazy coordination move that Kokoro Fuji did. And the root setter for this amazing boulder is Hayato Nakamura, a friend of mine who is also a pro athlete, and there's gonna be a video with him shortly. So just wait a few days and it'll be out. So as you can see, the first move is pretty far away, and Azamin also throws a double jump. It seems like he's coming straight out of Mario. And I would say for sure in this boulder, there is a difference. The height advantage is huge. He has to give 100% to get that first hold, which isn't even the crux, but for me, it's not that bad. Getting the balance here is very weird. If you jump to the side, you can't get momentum, and if you come out straight, it feels really weird, so you want to kind of whip your head forward, but it's pretty sketchy. And Azamin was helping me out, throwing me pointers all the way, and just basically teaching me how to do it. Now, I'm gonna give some context. Azamin has been doing this climb for about a week, and his hand was all calloused up and kind of beat up, to be honest, from so many catches with the right hand. So he started to change his beta just to get more tries and jumping with the left one. And as you can see, he has the second jump much more dialed than me, and he's pretty close to getting it. At this point, it had been over an hour of just trying this boulder, so we kind of gave up when we saw no more improvement. So if you enjoyed this video, I know you're gonna love this one next.